Welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast.
Come with me.
And welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. I'm your host, John. This is my co-host, Matt. Matt, say hi.
What is cracking?
We got a doozy for you, folks.
Always a doozy.
Always a doozy.
Always a doozy.
We are coming to you with the brand spanking new 2021 Malignant. Yes. Literally just came out on HBO Max and theaters. We have just finished watching it on HBO Max. We didn't go to the theaters for this one. Like the previous. For Candyman, we went.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
You a fan of that or no? I mean, it's gonna hurt the movie theaters.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I kind of hate about it is like it does take away revenue from them.
Right, it does. They obviously get a little more. They get some compensation from HBO.
Right.
It's all these Warner Brothers movies, I'm pretty sure. But I do like the fact that movies like this, where I'm not really intrigued to go to the movies, especially with this one where we went in completely blind. I mean, this movie had
there was no hype.
There was no hype around this movie. Just the
And for being
trailer
James
came
Wan.
out. Right. There was no hype for it. So for movies like this, I kind of liked it because it was like, hey, we can go watch this, and the convenience of it is nice. Where we can go
nice.
into your. We were in the other room, literally watching this. Came in, hit record. Let's talk about it.
Yep.
So I do like that aspect. But when it comes to a big blockbuster horror film,
We already talked about it.
right?
Halloween, we will be there.
Halloween Kills, we will be there. And it's not the fact that I went in thinking, oh, I don't want to go see this in the theater because I'm not going to like it. It was more of, oh, this one I'm not there's no hype around it. I'm not as excited for a movie like this.
Right.
Even though James Wan did actually say this morning through a tweet or on Instagram that he made this movie for the theaters, for the big screen, which you could see. But with you having, a nice theater set up with the sound bar and stuff like that, I mean, we
we
got
had
the full effect.
Right. It wasn't bad.
No.
Can everybody see us okay?
I hope so. 'Cause
Are we a long
some,
ways away?
We got some new equipment here, my friends. We got a
mean-
brand new camera
Oh, I like
here.
that better.
Did you go out? Oh, look at
I
that.
went in.
We got a little remote control here that we can control everything.
We're fancy now.
If you're listening to just the audio, that really sucks for you. I'm sorry. Even though we love you.
Yeah, but you can't see our pretty faces.
Right. If you're watching on YouTube, we got some new camera. We got a new setup here. Brand new camcorder that we're recording with. Some new set lights, stuff like that. So we're moving up in the world, huh?
A little bit.
A little bit. So let's talk about this movie, man. We'll stop right here. Spoilers ahead, possibly.
Everybody dies at the end.
I don't think we'll go too heavy on the spoilers, but we do want to make sure that if we do blurt some stuff out that, we're not trying to censor ourselves here as far as the movie goes.
Absolutely
We're going to talk about some stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie, which...
You probably shouldn't listen.
Don't listen right now. Go watch it. Come back. Check out the episode.
Right.
We appreciate it, guys.
And on that note, cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy. Some silver tequila this time. On our Candyman episode, it was gold. Not a huge fan of gold tequila.
No. I don't mind it, but I like any tequila, really.
I don't absolutely hate it. It's just, we've always done the silver. It's our go-to on this. We've only done one other episode where we went to some Texas whiskey for the
And
Texas
I think we had some
Chainsaw
tequila
Massacre.
on that one, too, didn't
Oh,
we?
we did. It's just
Yeah.
during the podcast we actually drank whiskey for that.
A whole bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
That was a rough...
It was also like I don't know. I don't want to say it was 3 hours, but it was long.
It felt like 3 hours.
It was really long, yeah. So yeah, anyway, we got some new equipment. So if the lighting's a little off, we're still trying to figure some stuff out. Video should be great. Sounds should be great. So last couple episodes we've been trying to figure some stuff out. It'll get better as we go forward. So anyway, let's get to this movie. Malignant, 2021, James Wan. What were your overall feelings?
I thought
I know that's hard to...
They did way more than Candyman.
Yeah.
As far as showing you things. There was a couple points in the movie where I looked at you, I was like, just show me.
Right.
It was very early on.
Yeah.
It was very early on. I think it was the
better
kitchen
with
scene.
it.
As it went on, the more they showed you.
Right.
My biggest dislike about this movie. 20 minutes in, I felt like,
Are you seeing that?
dude, Malignant.
Did you see that?
Did
you see that on camera? Our lights just straight up.
Malignant.
And
Dude.
obviously, if you're watching this, you've seen the film. That is
Gabriel.
very heavy right there. That actually just freaked me out. We've seen some weird stuff tonight, man.
Yeah, dude.
There was a whole nother thing that happened during the movie that we were like, whoa, this is weird.
We actually had to stop the movie, rewind it because we were so preoccupied. Big dislike, CGI. Way too much CGI in the movie with the movement of the body. I understand why they had to do it.
Of course.
When you find out what's going on. Another one, 20 minutes in, I looked at you. I felt like we both kind of figured out overall, for the most part, what the plot of the movie was. And like, we kind of figured out the twist, I guess.
Yeah, we like half figured it out.
Figured it out.
Well,
right.
it's really like we did figure it out, but there was a little more than we thought it was going to be. They did shape it into something that made was a little bit better. But yeah, pretty much it's wide open in this film. I mean, I don't know if you can consider this a twist, which I think people are going to, but if you don't see this coming, I mean, I don't know if you're watching the movie because I mean, oh my god, it is so blatant that 25 minutes in, you know what's going on.
Yeah, and length of the movie.
Oh
those were three things, I guess. It was like an hour and 50 something minutes. It did not need to be that long.
No, and it didn't. And that's not to say that it felt like it dragged. It
didn't drag, but
just the overall time. I mean, especially for us doing a podcast where we're like, hey, we're gonna watch this movie, then we're gonna go to work, we're gonna shoot this episode. But it's like, holy shit, 2 hours go by, and I think it's an hour and 50 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And it's like it didn't drag, but it was also like, man, you could have done that in an hour and 20 for sure. So yeah, I agree. I think we're kind of on the same page with this movie. I will go to what I did like.
Yep.
The soundtrack, man. Beautiful.
Bow, 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 bow.
If anybody caught it, the Pixies, "Where Is My Mind?" Now, no vocals or anything, obviously, but the instrumental,
so good. And the biggest miss.
Yeah, the biggest miss of the movie is James Wan should have ended this movie. Credits roll. You need to play.
Where is my?
Yeah, you need to play. Where Is My Mind?
You needed it.
I couldn't believe that they went with a slow, dark, dreary track. You should have gone with Where Is My Mind. Now, I don't know if that is because he didn't get the actual rights to it, because in the score it's actually a little remixed and stuff.
Yeah.
But right from the get-go, I was like, is that Where Is My Mind? And then as the movie goes on, it stays in and it gets a little more
intense.
Yeah, and I was like,
it's
definitely the Pixies, man.
It was good.
Yeah, it sounded awesome, dude. Awesome.
Another thing, where did this woman buy all her appliances? Were they gifted to her by her great grandmother?
Unless if she's shopping at like a hand-me-down store.
Mean,
everything is old. Everything.
I mean, we're 2021 and things were from like the 70s. The furniture, the lamps, the refrigerator, the blender. Everything was old as shit. Which,
I mean, it looks cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it looks cool as shit.
It probably works better than the shit you buy now.
Right. But it's like you see the present day hit. It starts with 1993 and then it goes to present day, and it's like it doesn't feel like it's present day.
No.
Besides the cars and the phones.
Once we saw the car, we're like, no, it's definitely present day.
Yeah.
It was like a Toyota fucking Prius or something.
And they're in Washington, I think.
Yeah.
Movie opens up with a really cool shot of the hospital.
Very cool.
Really, really cool shot. It had, like you said,
Dr. Sleep, man.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of Dr. Sleep vibes. I even felt a little bit of Exorcist vibes at the end. I didn't say it. When the mother was in the bed at the end.
It kind of looked like Linda a little bit.
It looked like Linda Blair.
It did. I was going to say that too, which is weird because she's all bruised up. And
dude, it
has the same hair with the bangs.
And even her nightgown or whatever, it's almost like very Exorcist feel.
Old again. Even the hospital looks old.
Also some E.T. feels in this movie.
Definitely some E.T. feels.
E.T.
What I will say is, if this movie was a burrito, right?
I love burritos.
Burritos are so good. So say this movie was a burrito. This is what I'm going to throw into it, okay? Say we're going to add a little bit of what you had in there. You had a little Dr. Sleep in there. You had a little E.T. in there, right? A little Exorcist in there.
Pixies.
Yeah, Pixies in there. You throw some pixie dust.
Crystal
What this
meth.
movie reminded me of, and this is completely original, which was cool, it had serious vibes of like a long-ass CSI episode.
Dude, it really did.
Like total
Yep.
crime drama, but with like a bunch of horror thrown in there. It was shot like that too.
Yep.
And then add a little at the end, add a little Kill Bill in there almost.
Yeah.
Like there's Gabriel's throwing some fucking haymakers. He's doing some backflips.
I
He's doing
loved
some,
seeing the kills.
Yeah.
With Gabriel at the
yeah,
end.
they were great.
Loved it. The CGI just almost ruins things for me, though.
I know.
And like I understand because she was backwards or he was backwards.
Yeah, he's on the back of her head.
However you want to look at it.
Right.
And they had to do it with the movements. I get it.
Yeah.
I just didn't. Okay,
Well, it
let
always
me ask you
stands
this:
out.
in 10 years, how bad is that going to
Yeah,
look?
it's gonna look terrible.
It's gonna look like fucking The Mist.
Right.
You know, it's gonna
Yeah.
look like that type of CGI in
Where
10
like
years.
the story's there.
The story's
but, like,
the story was solid.
Yeah, it was.
I will say the story was solid. Execution, I'd give it. You know, overall, they did a pretty good job of it.
Yeah.
They showed me a lot of gore. I won't say a lot of gore. There was plenty of gore.
Yeah.
Okay. There was for the average horror fan. I feel like you're gonna go into it and you're gonna come out and you're gonna feel, okay, great. I got my money's worth.
Yeah, I think it was good. I think if you went in completely blind, you saw this in the theater, I'd be like, I got my money's worth. Like that was definitely worth it, especially for how hardcore the fucking soundtrack was. But you're right, the CGI, it just lacks in every movie.
It does.
When you have it sprinkled in a little bit, it's okay. And like I understand, like you said, some movies are so big that like the way you have to show it,
Right.
is like,
And the story behind it. You
right,
almost
right.
have to shoot it a certain way.
I always go back to It Chapter 2, where like there's so much CGI, but like if you're familiar with the novel, like you can't do the movie with Pennywise just being a clown. Like you can't tell the whole story that way. You're compressing that story into like almost like a slasher killer clown vibe, and like that's not what the story of It is about.
Right.
So like movies like this, I understand where you have to use the CGI, but it's not going to age well. It's never going to age well.
It's not going to age well.
It just
right.
doesn't. Like practical. Everybody's
People
favorite
are-
movies in the horror genre have practical effects. That's
Yeah.
why people are in love with the. I mean, some horror fans won't watch any movies other than the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the Michael Jordan effect, where like no one will ever be better than Michael Jordan.
Right.
No one will ever be better than 80s horror and shit like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I hear you 100% there. And that, dude, that speaks to a lot of things because Friday the 13th movies, not great stories, a lot of them.
No.
But guess what? You get practical fucking effects.
Right. A lot of kills on
And you
screen.
get a lot of kills on screen.
Yeah.
It shows
And
you
they
what's
look
happening.
good.
And they look
They just
good.
look cool.
Not a great story.
And it's like,
But it gives you that feeling of you're not just
right.
typing something into a computer.
Right. It's like, let's send this to the designer and see
Yeah,
what they
and,
can
and,
do.
and you can see it. And there were several points to this movie where I was like,
yeah.
if they just didn't do that, you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
and how do you do it? I don't know.
True.
I
true.
don't know. And with this story, the way it is, the walking backwards, the arms like going different directions, there's not many ways you could do it. Do you hire a contortionist
Well,
or
I
a
think
contortionist to play that role?
Yeah,
or-
I think what happens is you don't have Gabriel on screen as much, which would suck, right?
right.
But still, it's like for some reason, like we've gone to CGI to be like look more realistic, and it just looks less realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas the practical effects look not realistic, but they look cooler.
Is that because they've come so far that they believe they can get away with more of it? In a little bit
Yeah,
of CGI is not bad.
No, yeah.
I mean, in small doses, okay.
We'll go back to Candyman with like the bees. were CGI.
And we still bitched about that
I
too
know, it's
because
true.
it wasn't.
Well, because no matter
You can
where you
tell.
go with it,
You can tell.
If a movie has too much of it, and if it has too little, it's like you pick it out like a fucking.
You do,
You
right?
know what I mean? You just pick it out like a sore thumb. You're like, oh my god, like
Yep.
CGI. You know it is. So it's a really like, but I have a love-hate relationship with it because some movies do it really good.
Some do, yes.
Some movies it has to be there, so you just kind of look past it. But like a movie like this, like I do wish like you said, I don't know how they do it.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
at that as film directors and writers. We're not at that we're
Right.
not in any position to make that call. But I mean,
What do you do?
It
Right.
doesn't look great.
It
Sometimes,
doesn't look great. If I were to, have the option to do CGI or practical effects and be able to pull it off either way, and have the budget be whatever the same,
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean? Okay,
right.
I'll preface it with that.
Right.
You go with practical effects every time.
And I think that's the other thing is like practical effects. Not only like it might be less money, but it's like probably way more time on screen.
Absolutely. And then if
longer
you
sets.
and if you fuck something up, you have to almost reset
you
or
have to do it again, or you have to cut that whole scene.
Agreed.
So
right.
it's
so I
almost like,
understand that.
we'll get away with that in post production,
Yeah.
with CGI. So
Yep.
I get it. And this movie wasn't like just like littered with it.
It wasn't, no.
It was mostly the Gabriel parts and stuff like
was-
that.
yeah.
And there was some
The
good
fight
gore,
scenes.
right? And most of the kill scenes, but still, like even the
And a lot, especially in the prison,
right.
because it was just such a big sequence where it was
Well,
going
that's
around.
where like the Kill Bill aspect kind of comes
Agreed.
in, and in the precinct of the police station where like literally like kung fu camera shots of like turning in the air.
Wan or Tarantino? Tarantino. Yeah, I mean,
Tarantino's great. James Wan has done
James Wan's done some
magnificent
great
things for horror.
things, yeah.
And he did it again this time. I mean,
And
this is original. How many times do we
Yep.
talk about we want original shit?
Yep.
This is an original story. We got what we wanted, which
Yep.
is great. But here's my other thing. So my burrito. So I added a little CSI, right? It's like
Yeah.
a long CSI fucking episode. Seriously, it really is.
Yeah.
Add that little Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what's the other? The Ring.
Oh, definite vibes.
So
for
many
the
Ring
Samara,
vibes,
and then
dude.
and
Oh,
then
yeah.
the mother's name was like
Emma.
no, it began with an S.
Yeah, yeah.
Sonora, or no, something May.
Yeah.
But it was an S. It was an S name, and I was even thinking, come on,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah,
You know
it
what?
had
You know what?
total
You know what?
Ring
I
vibes.
forgot. I was gonna get the same size chair as you because I feel so.
They could tell on camera now because we're fucking 1080 4K over
I'm
here.
fucking 2 inches taller than this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wise guy.
Another thing about this movie, it was just like kind of just from the get go was like, here we go. It wasn't really slow at any points.
No.
It kind of got going right from the beginning, which was cool. And when I say CSI, is like the introduction, like in the title screen, was all like very CSI, like TV show style.
Mm-hmm.
Like even that
Yeah, you said it.
theme song.
Malignant came up, boom, gone,
Yeah.
and then it was just like went into it. It was almost like back straight.
Yeah.
You know,
It had like American Horror Story.
It did
type
have
feel
that
with like
vibe, yeah.
the incisions and the surgical shit.
I
know?
love that intro. I've always loved the American Horror
it's
Story
great.
intro.
Yeah, that song too is just so catchy.
I don't know what they're saying. I always say back straight, back straight.
but it's the soundtrack just carried this movie for me too, where it was just like, oh man, in theaters it would have been like, oh, this is fucking sick, man.
Yeah, we had it pretty loud here. I mean,
We did. I mean,
was-
we were bumping in here.
Right.
It was like it's like a mini theater. It was great. But
Yeah.
like, if I was at like the drive-in seeing that or something, I'd be like rocking
yeah.
out in my car. I'm like, man, the Pixies, let's fucking go, dude.
right. So your overall impressions, like, dislike?
Yeah, I liked it.
You know,
I liked it.
give me a scale out of 10.
7.9. 7.9.
7,
I
9.
think that's pretty good. I mean,
That's almost an 8.
Yeah,
that's an
that's
8
pretty
out of
good.
10. You know,
Absolutely.
essentially. I mean, I would have given it a 6, 8.
that's what you go with.
That's what
Yeah.
I need to be overly blown away
Right,
to
right,
get.
right,
you know what I
right.
mean? You know how I'm a critic.
Yeah. which we're trying not to be, but we are. I was impressed with just the originality of the story. Since we're doing spoilers anyway, obviously, like when we first saw it, we were like, 25 minutes in the movie, we were like, it's gonna be like a Siamese twin.
Yeah.
Her
Literally,
boyfriend just absolutely bashes her head off that fucking wall.
Yeah, and the shock factor immediately in the first 10 minutes, I was like, shock factor, I love it. Because he punches her right in the fucking her pregnant stomach, smashes her head off the fucking wall, and I was like, shock factor. You don't see that. You don't see pregnant ladies getting punched in the stomach.
And you just knew right from the beginning that something about her head, she just kept bleeding. She wasn't going to the hospital. You're like, all right, something's going on with her head. And then they're playing the Pixies, Where Is My Mind?
Right.
So I'm getting this connection with that. And then obviously the first time you see Gabriel, you see that he's connected to someone else.
And we had just talked about it. I was like, I looked at John. I was like, so when are we going to see the side profile of everything going on here?
Right.
And it wasn't
just new.
It wasn't 2 minutes later. It was like, okay,
right,
here we go. And when you see it, another shock factor moment. They did a good job on that scene.
When you
initially see Gabriel, they did the little
T-Rex arms.
Dude, I love it. When you actually see him for the first time, great.
Right.
They did a really good job of that. Why? Because it was practical effects.
Yeah.
They literally put animatronics and fucking like makeup on the back of this girl.
And there was probably a little computer
generation
in there for
absolutely.
Sure, but you could tell that they used kind of both, and it just looked really cool.
Absolutely.
And it was creepy looking.
See that they can get away with that, but when you put something into a program or a computer, people can see it.
Right.
And in 10 years, it's not going to withstand the test of time, because even though right now, this is the best we've ever had. This is the best CG.
Yeah.
Well, in 10 years, it's going to be obsolete. It's going to be fucking obsolete. You know what I mean?
And that's why I don't necessarily call it a twist. I mean, if this is a twist, you see it from a mile away. I think James really tried to let you in on the secret early to try to get it out of the way, because
that way you could just go on with the story.
Yeah, I will admit that if that's how you end the film, because remember, you see that she's, he's like this cancerous tumor,
right?
And then you get like another 10 to 15 minutes probably. So you get more of the story, which we get some more shock factor where they kind of take it back a little bit, but he did have the motive
I hated that. I did want to
like it.
I love the shock factor initially.
You wanted it to actually
do not, dude, how many times have we seen this? Have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Just have the balls to do it.
Well, I think he did it.
It's like more spoilers. If you haven't seen Infinity War or you know what I mean, like,
now we're getting deep.
Have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Just have the ball. Yeah. If you're gonna do it, you know why you're doing it. You're doing it for the shock factor. You're doing it to gut wrench.
Right.
You know what I mean? To just pull somebody's fucking heart out.
Yeah.
And it worked. Do not go back on it.
Yeah, and it's weird.
Do not go back on it.
And it's weird because his movies are kind of split in half with that. Like the Saw series, he rips your heart out every time, right? But then you go to like the Conjuring series, and it's all about these characters going through a bunch and then prevailing at the end.
Absolutely.
So it's like these. He's kind of torn as a director and a storyteller of should I give them everything or should I take?
I like that because you don't know what to expect going in
on the next movie, right?
Exactly. You're not going, okay, he's just gonna fuck. Everybody's gonna live. The final girl is gonna live.
Right.
This person's. You don't get that. And like, was I happy to see her sister survive? Sure. I'm in love with her.
I love her.
I'm in love with that girl.
Yeah. That's another thing. I will say this. The acting was dreadful in this movie.
Oh my God.
It was so bad.
The detective that was 12 years old, good God. Give me a grizzled vet.
Even the sister thing. At the end when she's like, I've been yearning for a biological like whatever, and I'm like
to be in front of me.
Yearning,
and she says, "I've been yearning for something to be in front." Like she actually says something in front of me or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you got a biological connection behind you.
Yeah.
And I feel, do we see a sequel?
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to because
I
it
mean, I
locked
think
him in the
every
cage.
movie he's done, he's had a sequel.
Okay,
right?
so locks Gabriel in the cage at the end. Spoiler.
Yeah.
You know I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll be ready for
But
you.
I'll be ready for you. No, you won't. You're never ready.
And I kind of okay. If this is a one-off, I like it. If we see a sequel to this, I don't know how much I will like it.
Yeah, you have to go
Because-
completely brutal.
Yeah,
like,
you'd
I need like
she's gone.
Yeah.
She and you know, in my opinion, if they do a sequel, she has to not be a character.
right.
And this has to be a full Gabriel takeover.
Yeah, because we almost get a slasher vibe there
You
too.
do.
You know,
You
so
do.
like you could go full Gabriel, and I would love to have that because
Yeah.
then it would just be brutal and just kill everyone. But you'd have to go that way. But with James Wan, I
have her
mean,
twist the head around. That way, Gabriel can actually walk like
Right,
a normal
right,
person.
right.
You know what I mean?
He comes out the front, right?
Comes out the front.
that was another thing.
Gets-
Her skull just heals at the end.
Oh God,
I was
yeah,
like,
I
oh,
didn't like
man,
that
oh,
either.
Come on now.
I'll drink to that. I didn't like it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it was what it
I was like, come on, I understand the symbolism and shit, but like, I just like the fact that she had her head bashed in
I
and then
did
like
li-
it cracks.
I
and, like,
did like the fact when the sister, the love of my life, is laying on the hospital room floor, and she says, "He's the one who killed your babies.
Yeah.
He's the one who ate the fetuses, or
Right. Yeah, he
gained
was-
strength through the fetuses."
He was literally like, that's some Voldemort shit, man.
That
like,
was the shit.
Yeah.
See, I want the dark. I want
that
the
felt
fucking
like some
twisted.
Lord Voldemort fucking shit where he was.
Do not
like,
say his name. What?
I'm not scared of him, bro. I will say his name. I am not scared of
Whoa,
him.
get the fuck out of here.
But yeah, and that was gnarly though, right?
It
I
was
was like,
good.
I looked
I
at you, I was
loved
like,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good right there. Just feeding, because I was wondering when that was going to come back into play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that didn't come into play that I was a little disappointed of is the creamery, like factory or whatever it was.
With the old cars and all that
Yeah,
shit.
you go down and it's like the old stage coaches and stuff,
Yeah.
and it had like
The
old
lights,
street lights. I'm like,
yeah.
what is this place? I don't know if I missed it. I mean, this is initial reaction, so if we missed it, I guess. But
Well, I mean, you see her explaining, like, in the beginning of the movie, the mother.
yeah,
What ends up being her mother, you don't know
Right,
that it's her
right.
mother in the beginning.
Right.
And she talks about how the punk rock scene, she's talking like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, all this stuff. And she
Yeah.
says, but a lot of people say these tunnels are haunted and all
Yeah.
this stuff. There's a lot of history here. But I didn't see, like, they were busting through walls and all this shit.
well,
and,
right,
like-
and it's not like
and then it's almost like they found a secret.
yeah, and I don't understand where like. I mean, it's not like Gabriel was actually like a demonic being. He wasn't
Right.
like he wasn't haunting that place in real life. Like,
Right.
she just randomly went through there because it was her the whole time. So I just felt weird. I was like, what does this place have to do with it? Because I thought it was really cool that she goes through that wall when the detective's chasing her, and she's like, and all of a sudden you see all these
When the high
old-
school kid is chasing after
yeah,
her.
it's the high school detective.
Dude, what is the fuck?
I know, very weird, very young. But everybody was kind of young in this movie. Right?
Everybody was super young in this movie.
Yeah,
Especially her sister.
but I didn't understand. You go through that, and then it's all these old stage coaches. I don't know if I missed something when she was doing the tour and like was explaining.
That's what I was
But
wondering
like I didn't
too,
understand.
but I don't think we did.
It was Underground Seattle. That's what it was called, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it almost if I didn't, it felt like I missed something of what this place actually was, and like it didn't connect to the story at all. And I was super interested in it because you break through these walls, you got these old street. It almost looked like an old like 1800s like alleyway,
Right. Yeah.
with all these old stage coaches and
Yeah.
you know, old street lamps, and I was like, where did
I
this
love
all
history
come from?
too.
It looked awesome.
History has always been like,
right.
I've
So when you
always-
see that, you're wondering,
I want more.
and it was like,
Also,
it was underground too.
also, I felt like the mother was made to be a big part of this.
Yeah,
So we see her get taken. We see her get hung up in what ends up being the attic.
yeah,
We see her break through.
right.
Gabriel's going to kill her at the end. How much do we even hear from the mother?
Just on the videotapes, right?
Very little
Yeah,
from
just
that.
very
So
vague.
that almost leads me to believe that the next movie, because there probably will be one,
You get like way more.
we're gonna get more from her.
Or
We're
do you
gonna
do you
get a
prequel,
backstory.
You think?
It could be. It
Yeah.
could be. Into
interesting.
what was it? Cyanide? No, not cyanide. Whatever it was. Siamone.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I think we see more from her in the next one. I think it was setting it up.
Right. It seemed like it could have been.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see.
We'll
guess,
see.
but
We'll see how if this one flops. It's expected to get 5 to 9 million
I think
opening
it's-
weekend.
You know what I did like too is like you just didn't. Every movie now is like you get 4 trailers. You get a bunch of shots and magazine. You get so much shit. You're just
You almost see the whole movie.
right.
You see all the action.
In this
parts,
movie,
right?
you didn't see shit.
I did like that.
You
Going
didn't
in
see
blind.
shit. We went in completely blind. I saw the trailer and I was like, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Now, granted, 25 minutes in, you're like, oh, I get it. But
Yeah.
like,
No, we figured it out.
still,
real
like,
quick.
even the first 25 minutes is important, right?
Yep.
Like, the fact that we didn't get much press and publicity on this movie is huge. I think. Like, I wish.
Is that
more,
because
I
you
wish-
think they think it's gonna be a flop, or because they wanted to keep things under wraps?
Yeah, I think they wanted to hide it. Like I said, there was things that came out where like their test screenings like were really close to the release date for today.
Right.
Because today's the release date, obviously. So I think they were trying to keep things under wrap. But that's the thing is, it seems like he just pushed for you to understand what was kind of going on.
Yeah, and I don't hate that.
No.
I don't necessarily like. We talk about it with a lot of these movies where they try to like
The grand
Christopher
finale.
Nolan. Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan, like with Tenet or
Yeah.
or Inception
Yeah.
or some of these other ones, The Prestige that he's done.
Right.
I know we're different director completely,
Yeah.
but he's one of those guys who likes to trick you through the entire movie
And then bring you in for that grand finale.
and then at the very end, you kind of can piece it all together. But it's also one of those movies you have to be like, okay, let me watch that again, one
yeah.
more time, and
Just
see
to
if I
see
pick
everything.
if I can
Everything's so
pick up
subtle.
on things, right?
Right.
Subtle little things,
Which
and you
works
do.
for some things, but I feel like if you can get it out of the way too, you can wrap up the movie in a different way, and it's not this some grand
Right.
scheme where
Right.
M. Night Shyamalan does that for some of his movies where it's just I haven't seen Old yet, but I've heard terrible reviews.
I know. I haven't heard many good things.
I've been
either.
an M. Night Shyamalan fan for a while.
You are.
I loved Signs. I loved The Sixth Sense. I loved The
The
Village.
Village.
I
You
loved,
do love The Village.
I loved The Visit. I loved all those movies, man. But like some movies, he just doesn't hit on. Like The Happening was terrible, obviously. I heard Old was terrible. Lady in the Water was terrible. He's done. It's a hit or miss with that type of storyline. So like, if you're gonna do it as a grand finale, it's gonna be really good.
And I think some people box themselves into doing that,
Yeah.
like where this is what I'm known for. I have to. There has to
Right,
be that
right.
Shyamalan twist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, wouldn't it be great to just see a movie and be like, oh, there was no twist. It was straightforward.
Right.
And it was a great movie. How many movies have we seen that are just fucking great? You don't have to, you're not necessarily thinking through the whole thing. Maybe you're
Right.
trying to because of the director or
Right,
whatever.
of who it is, trying to guess it.
Trying to guess it,
Right.
and then at the end you're like, oh, there was no guessing. So maybe you would be disappointed.
But also,
you know
it's
what I mean? I
it's
don't know.
There's it's a schedule type thing. I mean, like I said, it's a hit or miss. Like James Wan has hit on that hard before. First Saw,
Right.
that was a
Right.
huge hit. That was the finale, and it was a curtain
Bombshell.
draws.
Yeah.
People standing up cheering.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the second Saw, like so he's hit on that before. But it was interesting to see him be like, okay, I feel like it just felt like he was pushing you to be like, okay, this is kind of what's going on. I want you to get it
Yeah.
so that I can wrap this up in a different way. I'm not trying to be known as a director that's pushing these twists
Right.
and trying to fuck with you the whole movie.
Yeah, and
know?
like I said, I think certain people do box themselves in.
yeah,
like that.
and try to do that like every
and they
time.
and if you've hit on it before, okay, I have to do it again.
Right.
This is what people expect from me. This is how I have to do it. This is how it has to play out. And James Wan isn't really like that.
No.
You said it
Or
earlier.
The Conjuring, Insidious.
Yes, you see different
different
aspects
stuff every
through
time.
which that gives his range.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a great director.
Yeah, he is.
He's done a really good job.
good job.
on pretty much everything he's done. Do I like everything he's done? No. Do I like a lot of the things he's done? Sure.
I respect his work for
Absolutely.
sure. Absolutely.
You know?
And that's that with this movie too. I respect the movie. I respect the move of trying to hit on an original piece where a lot of people are doing remakes and a lot of people are playing off different stories that are not theirs. You know what I mean? Rebooting all these things. So it was, to me, it wasn't a home run, but it was a hey, I'm gonna.
It was a double. It was a solid double.
Yeah, it was like, hey,
it was a double off the monster.
I'm gonna do this original story, and I'm sure he had an amazing time making it and having fun with it and shooting it the way he did, because it's not shot like other movies. So all in all, I mean, it was a good movie. It was worth the watch.
Worth the watch.
I had a good time watching it.
It was
anyway.
long.
I mean,
it was a little long.
That's okay.
It was a little
though.
long in the tooth, but that's not a bad thing.
But I had fun watching it with you, man.
Yeah, me too.
It was a great time.
It was a good time.
We're going to wrap this up, guys. We appreciate you guys being with us. This was I don't even think we said it. This was our 26th episode.
26th episode.
26th, yeah.
We're creeping up on 2 fucking years here.
Like we said, we're pushing towards doing some of these newer movies. We're definitely going to do Halloween Kills when that comes out.
Definitely going to do Halloween Kills.
We're going to try to do some other stuff. We'll throw in the old movies.
We will throw in the old movies, because
Absolutely.
there's some ones that I really want to get to. Right. The Thing.
Yeah.
The Exorcist.
Especially with Halloween coming up, the
Exorcist
fall
with the
season.
reboot coming up with that.
Yeah, that's going to be big.
And we're going to have a lot to say about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and with Halloween season coming up, there's other movies that we're going to want to touch on that we haven't.
If you say
yet.
Hocus Pocus, I will smack you right in the face.
I would love
right
to
now.
do Hocus Pocus.
I'll never watch it.
Man,
how
about if we do a dual episode, Hocus Pocus and Ernest?
Okay, I'll watch Ernest. You watch Hocus Pocus.
Well, we gotta watch.
No,
them both.
I'm not watching it.
Oh man, you're so bad, dude. I love Ernest too. I love both, man. Fuck y'all.
Fuck y'all.
Anyway, thanks you guys for joining us. Thanks for sticking with us on this one. Yeah, it's been great.
I think a lot of horror fans are gonna like this movie.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's gonna be one of those movies that surprises some people.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the best? No, because Halloween Kills is going to. I mean, I don't know how many times I got to say it's going to murder the box office.
Absolutely torch everything. So
even though Peacock, I mean,
I know that's weird. Well, we might do a separate video on that, so let's hold the thoughts on that. Yeah. Or maybe we bring you guys some news. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's been great. We're gonna bring you episode 27 real soon. We don't know what we're doing yet, but anything else we gotta add? I think that's pretty much it.
Pretty much got it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Short, sweet. This is our new thing. Short and sweet, to the point.
We're still working on our new project coming up. We're in the beginning works of that, so we'll have more news on that coming as well. Thank you for sticking with us, the Home of Horror podcast. Matt, bring us out, man.
May the power of Christ compel you.
Thank you guys very much.
Cheers.
Home of Horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Home of Horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Horror podcast. So that's your third Stephen King?
Don't start with me, dude.
I bet they spent less than $50,000 on that movie.
$252,000.
Oh wow, really?